servant? Okay, but go ahead. What's your question?
Yes, so I have some questions with regards to
sure?
mainly John. I'm trying to understand if what I'm following is the actual truth, or if what you're guiding me is the actual truth. So in John, my father is greater than I. John 10:14-28. My father is greater than all.
Zakir
I
Naik.
can of myself do nothing as I hear. I judge, and my judgment is just, for I seek not my.
Asnoan.
Yeah.
Now I know you're a deceiver. Have you watched my 50,000 videos on those? Because you're repeating Zakir Naik. Okay, let's try it again. John 5:30, you misquoted it. You didn't read 19 to 30, which you're going to read for me because it's going to prove that Jesus is Muhammad's God. You then misquoted John 10:28. I'm sorry, John 10:29. You didn't read 27 to 33. And then you took John 14:28 out of context. Okay. Go to John 5:30, which you misquoted. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'll go to John.
You are a good Mohammedan stone kisser. I appreciate you. Okay, go to John 5. Did you open it?
I can of mine own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not mine own will, but the will of the Father which had sent me.
Now, we're going to read in context in a minute, but before we read in context, to show you what you butchered, because you followed Zakir Naik. So your name Hasnoon, so you are Muslim, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now, number one, do you see that Jesus referred to God as the Father?
Yes.
So can you say for everyone, I, Hasnoon, a follower of Muhammad, say, Allah's my father, Muhammad's father, and Jesus' father?
Allah is Jesus' father, Muhammad's father.
One more time. Oh, so you can say that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, you are a kafir. Your Quran says you're a liar and you are a son of Muta, because in chapter 5, verse 18, it says, Allah is not the father of the Jews, not the father of Christians. And in chapter 19 of your Quran, 88 to 93, it says, all you are is a slave to Allah. So you just destroyed the Quran. Thank you.
Brother, could I just explain this in this perspective?
No, you can't explain it because your prophet explained it. Are you smarter than him?
No, I'm absolutely not smarter
than
any prophet.
Your prophet said Allah's not a father to anyone. All he is your master, and you are his slave. But you just agreed with Jesus. Muhammad is a liar because Allah is your father. So I want you to thank yourself for proving Muhammad's God is not your God. It's a God revealed in Jesus, because you said Allah is your father.
Brother, could you just let me explain?
Can you agree that you just disagreed with the Quran and that you're better than Muhammad?
I'm not better than Muhammad.
Open up Surah Al-Maryam. Open up. Chapter 19, verses 88 to 93.
They say the most compassionate has offspring. You have certainly made an outrageous claim, by which the heavens are about to burst, the earth to split apart, and the mountains to crumble to pieces. In protest of attributing children to the most compassionate, it does not befit the majesty of the most compassionate to have children. There is none in the heavens or the earth who will not return to the most compassionate in full submission.
As what? How you relate to your Allah?
As a servant. I was a servant. So
okay, but you
let me
explain. Your Quran doesn't need you to explain. You're not Muhammad, man. I don't need your explanation. It says it right there, man. Are you saying you need to explain the Quran for me? Are you a prophet? Are you an alim?
No, absolutely not.
So do you agree with your Quran? Allah is not your father. You are his slave.
Yes, I'm absolutely agreeing with the Quran that God is my servant. I just meant it in a metaphor. Brother, you asked me to say it. I didn't really mean it.
He just said, I didn't really mean it. He was using taqiyya because he's a liar like his prophet.
Sam, my brother.
Okay. Hassan, I'm going to send you to Mecca. I'm going to send you to Mecca. Shh, you just admit, we got you on record. You just admit you didn't mean it. You're a liar like your father, the devil, Muhammad's father. Now let's go back to John 5, because now I'm going to show you what John 5 says, and it shows that your Quran is from hell.
Then answered Jesus and said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do.
Do you agree what you read? You quoted John 5:30. I'm giving you the context. Jesus just said, I can only do what the Father does, and whatever the Father does, I do it the way he does it. Can a prophet say, could your prophet say, I only do what Allah does, that's all I can do, and whatever Allah does, I do?
No, we can't.
But that's what Jesus said.
But okay, so I understand that they're trying to imply that Jesus can do what the Father does. But let me.
Everything the Father does, the way the Father does it, such as raise the dead. Read John 5:21.
Yeah. So in the Quran,
Read John 5:21. Read John
yeah.
5:21. Because I'm going to now show you the Quran proves Jesus is God. Read John 5:21.
For as the Father raised up the dead and quickened them, even so the Son quickened whom he will.
Okay,
Whom he
so
will.
just like the Father raises the dead and quickens them, meaning gives them life, the Son, who can only do what the Father does, and everything the Father does, he gives life to whom he wills. But it's going to get worse for you. Before you ask, because I'm going to show you your Quran stole the words of Jesus. John 5:25.
John 5:25. Okay. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the hour is coming, and now is when the dead shall hear the voice of the Son of God, and they shall hear, and they that hear shall live.
Okay, wait. Whose voice are they going to hear?
The Son of God.
Which you don't believe he's the Son of God. And when they hear his voice, he's going to make them alive?
And they shall hear, and they should that hear shall live. Yeah.
Okay, and the hour, right?
Yes.
Now read 28 and 29.
Okay. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming, in the which all that are in the graves shall hear his voice, and shall come forth. They that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation.
Okay, now whose voice are they going to hear at the hour?
The Son of God.
Okay, and when they hear his voice at the hour, they're going to come out of their graves, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now go to your Quran, chapter 22, 6 and 7.
That is because Allah, He is the truth, and it is He who gives life to the dead, and it is He who is able to do all things. And surely the hour is coming, there's no doubt about it, and certainly Allah will resurrect those who are in the graves. And among men...
Wait, your Quran says, at the hour, Allah will resurrect the dead from their graves, and He gives them life.
Yeah.
But Jesus said, He, the Son of God, will resurrect them from their graves and give them life at the hour.
But let me ask you this question. Did Jesus really say that?
Before you ask, do you now agree your Quran just confirmed Jesus claimed what your prophet said only God can do?
So it's conflicting. So let me ask you.
What? Wait, conflicting with what?
Conflicting. So there's two opinions, two varying opinions. One is saying that Allah will bring people out of the graves, and the other one is saying that Jesus, the Son of God, is
going to. Your Quran doesn't matter. It comes 600 years later. We don't give a damn about your Quran. What I'm saying is John 5:30, which you quoted, which you didn't read. Your Quran admits that what Jesus said, only God can say. Can a prophet say like Jesus, the hour is coming where they will hear my voice at that hour and I will raise them from the graves?
No, I don't think any prophet can say that.
But Jesus said it. So who does Jesus think he is, according to your Quran?
So in the Quran, we're quoting from the Bible. So we're not quoting from Quran at this point in time.
We're quoting from Quran to show you my Bible proves that Jesus claimed to be God. Don't run. According to the Quran, did Jesus claim what only God can do?
Yes, Jesus is claiming what only God can.
Okay, so then now you see why you don't trust Zakir Naik. You don't trust Zakir Naik. He's a liar like your prophet. Now, did Allah also say that he's the truth? In Quran chapter 22, verse 6?
Absolutely.
Now read John 14, verse 6.
Jesus said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me.
According to chapter 22, verse 6, who's the truth? Al-Haq.
According to Allah.
Okay, and one of the 99 names of Allah is Al-Haq.
Yes, absolutely.
So why did Jesus say he's the truth and the life? Can you show me where your prophet said, I am the truth and the life?
No, because he doesn't claim to be the truth or the life.
Oh, but Jesus did. This is the same chapter where you quote Jesus saying the Father is greater than I.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm reading it correctly and you're stating it correctly.
And you admit that Jesus claiming what the Quran says only Allah can claim and no prophet can claim if he's God-fearing. So thank you for proving to me Jesus claimed to be God, the Son of God. Okay, so now in John 14:6, you admit that same chapter Jesus just claimed to be the truth and the life, which according to the Quran Only Allah can be the truth and the life, right?
Only Allah can be the truth.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now go to John 14, 13 and 14.
Do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. You may ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it.
Can you show me in the Quran that someone other than Allah in heaven answers prayers and does what you ask him to do? When you make dua, who do you make it to?
Allah.
How come Jesus said, you will ask in my name and I will do it? Who does Jesus think he is?
He thinks he's God.
Say it again.
He thinks he's God.
Okay, so then can we stop this? John 14, 23.
Jesus answered to him, if anyone loves me, he will keep my word, and my Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home with him.
Okay.
Whoever does not love me
stop
does
at
not
23.
keep my words.
You went to 24. Jesus says, when you love me, my Father and I will come and we will live with you and be with you. How can Jesus, if he's a prophet, claim, I will be with every true believer the same way the Father will be with every true believer, because Father and I together will live with every believer all over the world? Can a prophet say that?
No, absolutely not.
So Jesus said that, right?
Yeah.
And yet he's not the Father, right?
No.
So who does Jesus think he is? Who does Jesus think he is?
From these verses, it feels like Jesus thinks he's God.
Yeah, and yet he's not the Father, so he's God the Son, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now when we read these verses, now let's read John 14, 28.
Okay.
Now read John 14, 28.
Ye have heard how I said unto you, I go away and come again unto you. If ye loved me, ye would rejoice, because I said, I go unto the Father, for the Father is greater than I.
This is the verse that you quoted from Naik without quoting context. He's saying, if you love me, you shouldn't be sad that I'm leaving and going to the Father. You should rejoice, for the Father is greater than I. Now, you just admit in that chapter, Jesus claimed to be the truth and life, which only God can claim. Jesus will answer prayers from heaven, which only God does. And Jesus with the Father will be with every believer all over the world, meaning he's omnipresent, omniscient like the Father. So that means before I get to 28, Jesus already told me how not to understand it. Greater not in nature, in position. Just like your father can be greater than you in position, but you're still equal to your father in nature, or your boss greater than you in position, but equal to him in nature. Jesus saying, if I remain on earth, the Father is greater than I, because Jesus is on earth in a humble state as a servant to the Father, who is being beaten, spit, whipped, and killed, whereas the Father is exalted on the throne. So he's saying, rejoice, because when I go back to the Father, that will no longer be the case. But if I remain here, he'll be greater than I. But when I go back, he and I will be together in the same glory. That's John 17, verse 5. Read that for me.
And now the Father glorify me in your presence with the glory I had with you before the world began.
Did you catch it? Glorify me together with yourself in your presence. Meaning I don't have that glory now, because I'm on earth as a servant, allowing human beings to beat me, spit on me, whip me, and then allowing them to kill me. But then when I rise from the dead, I will return to the glory that you and I had before the world was. Do you believe Jesus had glory with the Father? And he was with the Father in the same glory before the world?
Before the world, I don't think so.
But he just said it. Now, Father, glorify me together with yourself with the glory I had with you from before the world.
Before the world. Yeah, absolutely read it right. But still the concept is, I really can't grasp the concept.
Well,
I think honestly, it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Honestly, this is brand new for me. This is brand new for me.
Take your time. But Hassanain, you even as a Muslim know Allah is unlike anything creation, and you can't fully comprehend him. So why then
absolutely.
Then why make the excuse? So, well, the Trinity is hard to grasp. So what? If it's what Jesus taught and Jesus is real, then it's true whether I can understand it or not. That's not an excuse to reject it.
Yeah, understood.
Okay, so do you want me to deal with now John 10:29? My Father is greater than all?
Yeah, we can move on to that.
Okay, but let's go to John 10. You start 29. Let's read 27 to 30.
My Father who has given them to me is greater than all. No one can snatch them out of my Father's hand. My sheep listen to my voice. I know them.
Now let's read context. Read 27
Okay.
to 30.
Okay. My sheep listen to my voice. I know them and they follow me. I give them eternal life and they shall never perish. No one will snatch them out of my hand.
Oh, wait. They
Yeah.
are my sheep. They hear my voice. I give them eternal life.
I give them eternal life.
And no one snatched them out of my hand?
And they shall never perish. And no one will snatch them out of my hand.
Okay, can you show me a prophet saying, I give people eternal life and I preserve them forever and no one can take them out of my hand?
No prophet can even comprehend saying that.
Oh, but now let's see the context. Now keep reading.
Okay. My Father who has given them to me is greater than all. No one can snatch them out of my Father's hand. I and the Father are one.
Now you understand. My Father is greater than all of those who would try to destroy the sheep. Therefore, because my Father is greater than all of those who would try to destroy the sheep, no one can take the sheep out of his hand, and no one can take the sheep out of my hand because I and the Father are one. So when he says I and the Father are one, in the context of the sheep are in my hand and in my Father's hand, and they can never be destroyed by anyone, what does he mean I and the Father are one?
Yeah.
Exactly. You got it, right?
Yeah, I understood.
Even the Jews realize Jesus just claimed to be God, though he's not the Father. Because now read 31 to 33.
Again, his Jewish opponents picked up stones to stone him. But Jesus said to them, I have shown you many good works from the Father. For which of these do you stone me? We are not stoning you for any good work, they replied, but for blaspheming because you, a mere man, claim to be God.
See, they got it. You're a man, we see it. You're not the Father, but you just claimed what only God can do.
Yeah.
So, even the Jews understood Jesus was claiming to be God in the flesh. So why would Naik and his boss, Didat, misquote John 10:29, not read 27 to 30, misquote John 14:28, not read verse 6, verses 13 and 14, 23, misquote John 5:30, not read 19 to 30. Let me give you a few more statements from Jesus to show you in John, he claims the very names that even Islam says belong only to God. Go to John 11, since you're in John 11. Read for me 25, 26.
Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this?
Wait, so Jesus said, I am the resurrection and life. In Islam, one of the names of Allah is Al-Bayyith, the one who raises the dead. And another one of his name is Al-Hayat, the living one, Al-Hay, the life. Jesus said, I am Al-Bayyith, the one who raises dead, and I am Al-Hay, the living one, Al-Hayat. Can a prophet who's a creature claim to be resurrection and life?
No, absolutely not.
So, but Jesus says, I'm the resurrection and the life. I am the truth and the life. I give them eternal life. No one can pluck them out of my hand. I am one with my Father in his power and ability to preserve believers. And at the hour, I will raise the dead from their graves by my voice. Who does Jesus think he is?
He thinks he's God.
Say it again.
He thinks he's God.
Now read John 6:39 to 40 for me.
And this is the will of him who sent me, that I shall choose none of all those who has given me, but raise them up at the last day. For my Father's will is that everyone who looks to the Son and believes in him shall have eternal life, and I'll raise them up at the last day.
Last day is Yom al-Qiyamah, the last day, the day of judgment, right?
The day of judgment. Absolutely.
But Jesus, I will be the one who will resurrect believers and make them immortal.
Yeah.
Can you show me where Muhammad or Moses says that?
No one says it.
So who does Jesus think he is?
Like I said, he thinks he's God.
Yeah, and yet he's not the Father, right? He's the Father's son?
He's the Father's son.